Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, fans of Skytear. Welcome to another episode of Skytear Sunday, featuring the seemingly immortal king, Kirito, and the newest challenger who is looking to end the Mad King's reign of terror, Pythoner. I am the commander reporting into duty, and I will be guarding you as we traverse the dangerous hillsides of Kingdom von Kirito. So before we began the game, we had a coin flip to determine the players going first or second. Both players did bring the Terror of the Endless Night, so the only thing was a matter of who wanted to go first versus second. Pythoner did win the coin flip, electing to go first. And so we will see what the plan is. So as a reminder, Ryan has a huge pile of bodies and is required to bring Korjoff during this draft. So we can see from our sky view at the moment that Ryan is running Korjoff, Ekrit, Brovar, Freyhill, Shillivi, and Astrida. A basically all blue squadron there, primarily actually blue-yellow. 4 blue-yellows, so we could see a 2-rune setup. That seems unlikely because Ryan loves his sinkhole, and also Freyhill exists. On the bottom, however, Pythoner is bringing Ishatosk, Nelaklin, Nantaka, Vorhild, Freyhill, and Astrida. So we will see the setup there. Of course, victory conditions for the day, everyone's personal favorite, hunting for power. No one is ever excited to see that because it dynamically warps the game, but it is what it is. Left breach, destroying the enemy tower in your left lane, which gives Ryan the advantage for that one. And then obstinacy, defeating the same hero twice. So we have 2 out of 3 kill conditions. That makes me happy, particularly given Pythoner's bonus card. For those of you who clicked the link from the content channel, you know that Pythoner's card is called Eye of the Guardian. And you may be asking, well, RG, what does that do? And I'm going to tell you, dear viewer, that you're going to have to hold your horses and wait because I didn't load in the new Unforgotten cards yet, so I can't bring it up onto screen until Pythoner builds his deck. That being said, I will give you a general idea. It basically reduces mana costs of played cards by the amount of mana that you've already spent. So we'll take a little bit look at the particulars of how it works once Pythoner shuffles up and gets his hand into play. It has some very nice artwork featuring Nelaklin and will, I think, allow Pythoner potentially to deliver some surprise shenanigans here. Now, of course, Ryan being, well, question mark being a member of Outsiders Only, did have access to the Unforgotten cards as part of the media spoiler coverage that the Neries gave us, but he does not know which card is being selected for this match, so does not know particularly that Eye of the Guardian is coming, and we'll see how he handles it. And the perfect flip VC for the deck I gave him, says Nicholas. Excellent. We love to see it. Unfortunately, I assume you're talking about Ryan, and assuming that he disregarded your comments. That usually is how Ryan goes. Oh, Zerigal, hello. YouTube missed my introduction. Oh, that is unfortunate. I'm going to blame Giacomo for that. Despite the fact that he is crippled and in bed, it is entirely his fault. Because this is not my channel, this is his, so we're just going to blame Giacomo. And yes, I was definitely regarding the reliability of Ryan, who admittedly has reliably held on to the title of King. Clearly showing his priorities in the matter here because he does not reliably show up for Outsiders Only recordings. Anyways, let's go ahead and jump back into the game. We'll have plenty of time to flame Ryan later because I am by myself and no one can stop me, which means I can go wild with power all I want. So Pythoner, opening the draft off, we do see the drop from Freyhill, no surprises there. Nelaklin coming out second, looking like Ishatosk will be third, so we add some mobility. Unfortunately, Pythoner did not give me his deck list beforehand, so I have no idea exactly what's in there other than the Eye of the Guardian card coming up. Ryan, for all of his many, many faults, did in fact submit his deck list ahead of time. We appreciate that. You can see his link down in the description for those of you who'd like to follow along. Or if you would just like to listen to me read off and rant about it, then just give us a second until Ryan finishes drafting so I know exactly what cards he brought. As Ryan has only so far shown us the Brovar and the Korjoff. Brovar makes perfect sense because in an aggressive game, you want Brovar there to taunt your opponents and waste an action. Also, being able to shapeshift and Brovar's presence does give you +1 armor. Nelaklin and Freyhild kind of neutralize that a little bit, but does provide a little bit of protection against 2 of Pythoner's heroes. So we'll see how that pans out. And speaking of the final hero, we do see Vorhild coming in for Pythoner and rounding off Ryan's team, Freyhill and Shilovy. No real surprises there. So let's taking a look at Ryan's deck here. Because we have Shilovy, Freyhill, Brilvar, and Korjov, we have 1 Touch of Leothin, 3 Nourishes, 3 Sacrifice, 1 Cooling Breeze, and 1 Soul Trance. What? A soul... Okay. Soul Transfer. That may be the first time I've ever seen someone put that card in their deck. Interesting. Freyhill brings us 2 Werefaith Falls, 2 Charms, 2 Speak with the Spirits, 2 Chasms, and an Ice Wall. Brilvar brings 3 Presence, 3 Redirect, and 3 Sinkhole. As I said, Ryan loves his sinkholes. And then the main man of the show here, Korjov, brings 3 Skytear Discharge, 3 Call of the Week, and 3 Rampant Hatreds. So, by not bringing Estrida, Ryan has sacrificed 2 Breath of Life, 2 Freeze, 2 Espionage, 3 Bewitch. And by not bringing Ekrit, we have discarded 2 Heightened Senses, 1 Werefaith Falls, 1 Time Glitch, 1 Shove, 3 Slides, and a Speak with the Spirits. Interesting. I'm interested to see how the Soul Transfer thing shows up. I assume that might be there as like anti-showdown tech, because you can't swap the Soul with the Outsider. I verified that with tape. The Outsider is specifically only friendly when you're activating it. So that means even during the retaliation stage, if the retaliation is on the stack, it does not count as friendly until the moment of resolution. So there's no weird shenanigans where you can try to soul swap, snipe the Outsider or anything weird like that. Oh, and speaking of Giacomo, welcome. How's it going? Hope you're feeling better. Glad you could join us. And if not, then hopefully I can provide you with some amusement as you remain crippled and bedridden. And we hope that you get well soon. So, with that being said, we are ready to go there. Whoops, let me zoom in a little bit so that we don't all have to get a microscope out and see the minions. Mulligan phase coming through here for the players. Of course, as we can see here, Kirito's heroes will be on our left side, Shilovy, Freyhill, Brilvar, Korjov, and Pythoner on the right, Ishatosk, Nelliklin, Vorhild, and Freyhill. I like the stack up here that we have. Notice the focus here is going to be on the lane number 1, which means that Pythoner is not necessarily as interested in going for the left breach setup here. He's more interested defending his breach, which is interesting because no Estrida. Generally, if you were going to go for that condition, you'd want an Estrida with the kill a minion, spawn a minion, make everybody cry. So I think we may just end up going and funneling down the road here. There's a decent amount of offense coming from Pythoner. Nelliklin, Freyhill provides some piercing. Vorhild, of course, as a marksman, does provide 2++. Able to shapeshift means that she's reasonably defensible against this team. And so I like the idea that this is going to get bloody. We love to see it. Rearranging the HP tokens, getting everyone set. Let's take a quick peek here. Did anybody mulligan anything? Nope. Okay. They're just taking forever to play. That's perfectly fine. In the meantime, let's go ahead and take a look at the Outsider since we have a few moments here. The Outsider, of course, as we know, must spawn in a cover hex. Peekaboo, I scare you. 3 abilities from the Outsider. Push each hero hit with 1 hex and apply slow. That is the Nightmarish Roar. Very useful for applying an AoE slow and some lane control. Not necessarily as big this game, but the push effect I think might be useful. Although, actually, now that I think about it, Werefaith Falls in the deck from Kirito, slow also very beneficial. You can kind of stick someone and make them go down slow. Dreadful Majesty, place the target hero adjacent to the terror and apply Disarm. Always good to reposition someone if you want to try and kill them. And then Bloodlust, apply Frenzy to target adjacent friendly hero. Very good whenever we're trying to kill people. Especially funny whenever you apply it to someone and then they turn around and kill the Outsider. Speaking of, Pythoner has gone for the first setup here. We have a move from Vorhild, a lead in the dome, and then I assume a worship action on herself. Because if you try to not worship on herself, Kirito just kind of dogpiles you in the dome and you die. So we have a lead from hand, a drop down of the pillar. Now that pillar actually is going to provide some usefulness here in this game, something we didn't really talk about to begin with. Both Korjov and Shilovy better be within range of Brovar, or the 1,000 Tiny Fangs from Vorhild could end up stacking a lot of damage. And Jorge, welcome. Thank you for joining us as well. We hope to see a great match. I agree. Preferably one where the victory condition is obstinacy. Because that means that someone was killed and then they were killed again, which means that you hate that hero in particular. We love to see it. All right, Ryan going with the move there. We do see, of course, the finish off worship on herself. Makes sense. Freyhill coming into the dome, trying to match that. Not going to give Pythoner an early advantage to collecting the outsider. Going for the worship action. Now, of course, a lot more options to put down worships, as his entire team is Leothan, whereas Pythoner's team, he's kind of split 50-50. Of course, all three of Pythoner's heroes are green-blue, which is going to be very useful, given that Eye of the Guardian is a green-blue card. But it does limit the effectiveness of the worshipping action from the, well, really from either side. Now, Vorhild can benefit from the pillars of Ishatosk and Nelaklin, but really the worship action is only going, the Leothan worship action is really only going to benefit Vorhild and Freyhill, which, to be fair, is quite beneficial for both of them. Freyhill, of course, gaining piercing and the ability to heal you to death, and Vorhild making it so that she cannot be targeted, which, knowing Ryan, there's probably a redirect in there somewhere, waiting to be sprung at the right time, so want to be able to deny the redirect from being sent onto Vorhild at an inopportune time, or, the charm effect, trying to steal away the shapeshifted condition and apply it to one of his own. Now, the important question here is, who does Pythoner move next? Because Freyhill is in a bit of an open position here. You could potentially march Nelaklin in and start doing some chip damage. Being within range of a pillar would also allow Nelaklin any color shenanigans. If Pythoner has teched out non-green-blue cards in his deck just to take advantage of Nelaklin, we could see some of that. Also, being close by means that you could use a pillar to kind of double cast. Generally speaking, you're not going to do that on turn one, unless perhaps you want to do like a presence into something. Of course, you could play a card and then have Eye of the Guardian come down and then use that with the Flux so that you could end up basically playing 3 mana from Nelaklin. That would be an interesting effect. Actually, you could do a lot more with that, now that I think about it. Oh, right, yeah. Actually, yeah, because of how Eye of the Guardian works, you could actually... Oh, yeah, so by the way, fun fact, believe it or not, and I heard this straight from the tapeworm's mouth, it is possible now to turn 1 Sinkhole people. As though Sinkhole wasn't an awful enough card in existence, because of how Eye of the Guardian works, and again, we'll walk through that once Pythoner actually plays a copy, because I don't have Game Master status right now, so that I can peek into his hand. I think he starts with 1 copy of it. You can actually make it so that if you have 3 spent mana, or 2 spent mana on your hero, and then you flux it, you can actually make it so that you can Sinkhole turn 1, which is tragic and unfortunate. You hate to see it. All right, meanwhile, Freyhill is going in. So Freyhill's going for the worship, the move, and the attack. We love to see some violence. Here we go. On the attack action, we get a flip, maybe, possibly. Anybody? Show me. Big damage. Oh, Ryan's probably got a reaction. We hate to see it. No, you hate to see the charm. All right. So this really doesn't have that much of an impact here. The charm will basically allow for the steal of the shapeshift, like I mentioned earlier. Now, the important thing to note here in this case is that it only has a minimal effectiveness, because all it does is takes away Freyhill's piercing. But we have a counter charm. We love to see it. Thank goodness. Okay, because otherwise, that was actually going to potentially shake things up, although the charm did get applied to... Oh, and the +3. Excellent. You love to see it. Okay, so Freyhill taking the 5 damage there. Piercing was put back on as Freyhill was reshape-shifted after stealing back the stolen charm Shapeshift, +3 on the flip. Love to see the flips against the heroes. Hate to see it against the minions. Violence is occurring already, which means I am a happy camper. Now with the exhaustion, Freyhill loses her Shapeshift, meaning that another charm opportunity not coming down. Very good. Very well played, actually. Ryan stopping the play there, and also good if Pythoner had some sort of a heal play in hand. It was a good idea to play the attack first, try to feel out whether there was a charm. We did see that there was. All right, so, big boy Brovar charging right in here. We're going to go for the taunt, I assume, and the attack action on the pillar. Okay, that makes sense. Now, I need to double check Vorhild's card real fast because that pillar being removed, I think, still activates. When a friendly pillar is placed or removed, Vorhild deals, yeah, but unfortunately, both of those heroes have armor, and so therefore no effect, but when the pillar was removed, that would cause something. We see the shapeshift action onto Freyhill from Brovar, and ooh, so actually not going to worship himself. That does make sense. You still do have Korjoff. You can march Korjoff into the dome, and shapeshift the Brovar, thus providing the double taunt. And Vorhild's going to whip out the Dreams of Talent. You love to see it. Okay, so it looks like we're going to do some Ixataxi maneuver here. Where is Dreams of Talent? So I can show that to you guys. Dream of Talent. There we go. Boom. Dreams of Talent. So, Dreams of Talent. You may remove a friendly pillar. This is, of course, back whenever you had pillar limitations based on the number of green heroes. That rule is over a year old, but unfortunately, card games, you can't really change the text, so you mostly just ignore that unless you wanted to try and chip damage somebody. Place a friendly pillar on a target hex that does not contain token or a minion. Now, of course, Vorhild did play this, which means that this is going to be somewhere inside the dome. Let's see where we end up dropping the pillar. Where is it gonna go? You could put it in the back. I'm not sure overall what the plan is here. Unless it's just to establish pillar presence, to set up perhaps for some sort of turn 2 play, maybe a topple play. A little bit difficult to predict exactly what's going on. It would have been much easier if you would have sent me your deck, Pythoner. Thank you for that. Not that I'm bitter about that, of course. We wouldn't be very bitter for the player neglecting to do something that's done every week, would we? Of course not. So, looks like Dreams of Talent is going to go ahead and resolve. Python are kind of thinking about where the pillar placement can go. It can basically go anywhere in the dome thanks to Vorhild's positioning. Where is it most beneficial? I think that's going to kind of give us some indication as to whether or not Ishitosk is going to utilize it, or, oh! Of all the places I thought it was going to go, I did not think it was going to go in that region. Okay, so this suggests to me that it's more likely to be used for Ishitosk as opposed to Nelaklin. It looks like that is a nice setup there for the Ixataxi, and Ishitosk is going to activate, goes for the move. So we go for the move, we attack, nope, we don't attack a minion and then taxi into the dome. That's wrong. We're going to taxi Nelaklin, into the dome when the mage and the assassin still have to go. This seems risky. Okay, let's see how this plays out. So we're going to drop the token right back where it stood. So with the worship action, both Ishitosk and Nelaklin are going to have to end up adjacent to that hex. So it is, I guess, technically possible that you could prevent Shillavi from getting at Nelaklin, but Korjoff will be able to run in and slap you around. Okay. That makes perfect sense. Said nobody. Okay, so what's the plan here? That allows Korjoff and Shillavi to both get into the dome. That puts another target in line. So I guess we're just going to dive bomb Freyhill, perhaps? +1 on the flip. Freyhill is not shapeshifted. Oh, no, she is shapeshifted. Excuse me. So that will be 1 damage. She is also shapeshifted within 3 of Shillavi, so we have revenge. And therefore, Ishitosk takes 2 damage piercing. 1 plus the flip there. I have to assume that a presence play is coming out here at some point from Nelliclin. Because right now, our boy Nelly is... You can move, skirmish, and attack him with both heroes. And Nelliclin is a kind of squishy dude here. So this seems a little aggressive. I assume that what we're going to see from Nelliclin has to be an attack against Freyhill, and then a repositioning more towards Pythoner's side of the field. That would allow Nelliclin to deal more chip damage to Freyhill without getting walloped by the second hero. Now, so if Kirito is smart, I think in this case we activate Shillavi here, because Korjoff will still have access to Nelliclin regardless of where he goes. And we do see the Shillavi activation. Okay, so Shillavi is actually going to go to the lane, not wasting the shapeshift on that. That makes perfect sense. Getting some advantage. The +3 against the minions. You hate to see it. So minions down. Well, again, of course, perspective always matters. Pythoner loves to see it. Kirito hates to see it. Yeah, Ryan, you actually can't flip against that minion. You're not adjacent to it. That was what we refer to as a whoops. Or maybe you did that intentionally. I don't know. Yeah, I guess because you wouldn't be able to skirmish into the dome, so if you wanted to influence the dome. So, but that makes sense. So that seems like a solid play there. Small advantage in the lane. That is Kirito's left breach victory condition lane as well. So that slow burn there. Kirito says, all right, let's go. You haven't shown any. All right, here comes the Flux presence. You hate to see this play, and this is why everyone hates blue-green. Okay, you flip the Flux. Kirito does have an opportunity to respond here, so we'll see if anything comes out before Pythoner drops the presence. Where is presence? I'm just going to get that preloaded because I'm almost certain that that's what's about to happen here. And Corey says, can't wait for the new 3-lane map. Yes, we will see new and exciting things coming in. I think that's supposed to show up early 2022. Meanwhile, I can't wait till we can unleash Kohai and Pebbles onto the battlefield. Ryan is pinging the Flux. I assume he's reading the text, assuming that there might be some minor technicality or word specification that he's looking for. Of course, 2 of Pythoner's heroes have already spent their mana for this round. I can't imagine that Ryan can't be going for a mana burn here. Blue-green doesn't have mana burn. What is he trying to do that would interfere with this? Brovar and Korjoff each have a mana. I think it's unlikely Korjoff does anything, so what could Brovar do for 1 mana? He could sacrifice to heal Freyhill, I guess? And then Nelliclin goes for the worship. What? I'm very confused about what's happening right now. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and chip damage onto Shillavi. So that does that. Oh, wait, why did Nelliclin get to... Okay, so this is a thing, but why did Nelliclin get to play Rampant Hatred here? I missed something. Oh, my apologies. I hit the wrong button there. Okay, so this is... Oh, he did get in... Nope, that's a flip on the... Oh, good. We can take a look at Eye of the Guardian in a second. Let me see. Did I miss something on Nelliclin? Discard all face-up power cards. You can put power cards in. I'm not sure how he got this Rampant Hatred off. I'll be totally honest. But in the meantime, While I try to think of how that actually happened, let's take a look at Eye of the Guardian. Oh, because he played Eye of the Guardian. Okay, so I missed that coming down. Okay, so this is the new card. The next non-ultimate power card the target hero plays costs X less mana, where X is the amount of mana spent by that hero. So we did the thing that we mentioned, although... Did that oh, because he played it in response to the flux. Okay, so yeah. So he played it while the flux was resolving, and that allowed that to happen, and all the magic occurs. So yes, this is the new power card, and fittingly enough, Nellicum plays it, and does lots of damage with it. So we did see the +2 on the flip there. Shillavi is going to respond with the Nourish. Nourish, just a basic heal there. Because Nellicum is going for the rundown. So, bam. There we go. New card, very powerful. Allows for turn 1 Sinkhole and turn 1 Rampant Hatred. And Freyhill has been yeeted from the field in round number 1. Courtesy of that card. Okay, so that was really fun and exciting to watch. We love to see the usage of a turn 1 Rampant Hatred as opposed to a turn 1 Sinkhole. And because Freyhill's already activated, she comes back in turn 2? Why is she on token round 3? I assume we'll get to that. Oh, no, because she activated. Yeah. So she comes back turn after next. Never mind, excuse me. Woo. I need to wake up and have some coffee. Okay. So... that is one dead hero for Kirito already, which means that Pythoner gets control of the dome. So Ryan will get a slow push in lane number 1, and Pythoner gets the outsider. I'm going to say advantage Pythoner. Also, because Pythoner now does not have to deal with Freyhill, who is, of course, one of the most powerful heroes. So we are going to see the skirmish action from Kordjoff. So Kordjoff is going to make sense. Ryan knows the dome is lost at this point. Go ahead, pick off the minion there. Looks good. And then move to a cover hex. I would go to the cover hex that's by the... Actually, that doesn't matter, yeah, because the terror can still spawn there. Yeah, doesn't really matter where you run, Ryan. That terror is coming for Kordjoff. Going for the worship action instead. Okay. You are 1, 2, 3, 4 away from Brilvar, which means you don't get the benefits of armor, but you still will get the fast and the +1 skirmish and the +1 damage and the melee transformation. Oh, excuse me, the melee transformation at the start of your turn. Okay, that was fun and exciting. Any end of round shenanigans from the players? I assume not. Ryan is going to win both lane 1 and lane 2, which will allow him some card draw, which is helpful because Pythoner is going to run Rampant. Although I guess he technically already did run Rampant, and it was pretty sweet to watch. Go for the minion removal. We love to see it. Put that in the cover hex. Okay, makes sense. 2 more spawn in for both sides. So in this case, I think that we have a rundown here. Ryan's victory condition at this point looks to be the left breach. Pythoner still has the open option, obstinacy, hunting for power. Honestly, at this point, I think you just kind of kill Ryan's heroes and stagger him. Seems to be the easiest thing to do. You can easily... okay, nope. We're not going to just go and maul on Kordjoff. I figured you would grab Kordjoff, attack him, and slow him. That seems to be the most easiest way to get use out of all 3 from the terror, but we'll see what happens, because you could basically shove him down the lane all the way into Kirito's Nexus line, which would make it so that even with a move and a skirmish, the best Kordjoff could do is get in the dome, where he would proceed to be pounded, which would be tragic and unfortunate. Eric, yes, the Eye of the Guardian just came out, and it was used to play Rampant Hatred turn 1. We love to see it. It was used in the dirtiest way possible. This was something that I had chatted about with Tape in terms of using it for Sinkhole. Is the card effect limited by round mana? And the answer is no. So therefore, by using a dirty combination of Flux, Nelliclin Worship, and Eye of the Guardian, we end up getting a turn 1 Rampant Hatred nuke, and of course, as you can see from the state of the board, because Pythoner had everybody in the dome when Nelliclin popped Rampant Hatred, that was an easy +4. Yes, so Smeoz, Rampant Hatred turn 1 is a great time. I agree. We love to see it. I know I am certainly happy to see turn 1 Rampant Hatred as opposed to turn 1 Sinkhole, because turn 1 Sinkhole just... my excitement is dying off already. Okay. Pythoner still playing around, trying to figure out where to deposit the bear. You may have missed how he played it. That's okay if you can rewind, because YouTube is better than Twitch. You can just rewind. Basically, it involved some Flux action, Nelliclin's Worship action, and the card itself. I'm almost certain that I missed something in the sequence there, because a lot of it kind of resolved real fast. But that is essentially what happened to... Poor Kirito. And then Freyhill, who was already getting beaten on, well, she just kind of got nuked by the Nelliclin Rampant Hatred. It was glorious. Can I show the card? I absolutely can, because Pythoner is taking longer than molasses in January to drip out of its bottle. Eye the Guardian! The next non-ultimate power card that the target hero plays costs X less mana, where X is the amount of mana spent by that hero. So I'm pretty sure that in this case, there might have been a little bit of jank. But that's okay. We love to see jank. And Ricardo has explicitly endorsed jank, as evidenced by the fact that Kumaya and Kumaya x Kohaya interactions with Sinkhole do exist. And honestly, you love to see jank. As long as it's consistent jank, we love to see jank, because that's what makes this game fun. Or really any game, not necessarily just Skytear. But any game is fun when you just have some really jank interactions that end up making wild things happen. All right, Terra's on the loose. So Terra spawns in, is going to move. I assume probably attack Shillavi at this point, or just push Brilvar and Shillavi. You can push Shillavi out of the dome, Brilvar back, so that Freyhill and Korjoff are no longer taunted. Although Brilvar is not shapeshifted, so that doesn't really matter anyways. You could just kind of grab Brilvar and fling him out of the dome. Also a possibility there. Yes, that is correct. Nelliclin played it, then worshipped, and then fluxed. Yeah, it was quite fun to watch. Mostly not because it was Ryan that was on the receiving end of the play, but just because it's like, oh yeah, this card that's super powerful and reserved for turn 3. Nope, we're gonna play it turn 1. All right, we're gonna go ahead and attack Shillavi there for 2+ on the flip. Bring Shillavi down to 11 HP. Does Shillavi revenge against the outsider? Oh no, she lost her shapeshift. She cannot revenge against the outsider. So now, one final thing. Do you give Vorhild Frenzy? I think you do. And you just activate Vorhild and wail on Shillavi and set her up for the kill from Nelliclin and or Freyhill. That seems to be the likely setup here. Pythoner reviewing the Outsider's ability. I'll bring those back on screen as well for us here, just to double check how things work. So you have two options here. I think it's either the push or the Bloodlust effect, depending on how you want. Oh, and the answer is neither. The answer is grab and drag and disarm. So we are going to fling Shillavi out. Nope, she's got to be adjacent. Got to be adjacent. Doesn't have to be within line of sight, but it does have to be adjacent. And then we're going to apply the disarm condition to Shillavi, so she is going to do substantially less damage. Ooh. And we're throwing her right away from her friends. Okay. This is going to be very, very unfortunate for Shillavi. In nomine Domino Espirito Desperatimo. Amen. Goodbye, Shillavi. If anyone speaks Latin, I apologize. So Pythoner gets to activate first at round 2. We have the kind of end of round there. We're going to draw up 2 cards. Ryan has pretty much a full hand. Pythoner 5 cards in hand, using a lot of the cards very, very successfully. We love to see it. And also, by the way, that was one of the main reasons why in the channel I said that I thought Nelliclin was going to be a big hit, is A, Nelliclin's ability, and then B, that card in particular. That card in particular, as you just saw, does allow you to play 3 mana cards at once, and your opponent just kind of has to sit there and take it. So what are the implications of this? Well, the implications of this are, with a little bit of finagling and fun, you could actually trample sinkhole someone to death very, very easily in turn 2. Or even in turn 1, actually. It does require some setup, but it is actually possible to just spam sinkholes, lock your opponent out, and then trample breach them. Hopefully we never see that, but as I often say, hope is no basis for planning. Speaking of planning, hopefully we can get the planning going here a little bit, and somebody can take a turn. And by somebody, I mean Pythoner. Otherwise, I might accidentally tell you something about Kohai in my inane ramblings. Which, by the way, according to the release schedule, is supposed to be released in the newsletter. I'm not certain if the newsletter is going to be under delay because, as we've mentioned, Giacomo is a little bit under the weather. He's usually the one that's in charge of that, so I'm not sure if the newsletter will be delayed. But Kohai's ability set is set to be revealed this week. I think it's very interesting, and I think that you guys are going to appreciate what exactly he can do. I foresee a lot of use for him. We've already talked a little bit about how Belly of the Beast, his ultimate, can work on Outsiders Only. If you haven't listened to that episode, then shame on you. I'm going to start ringing the nun shame bell here in a second. Go listen to it. It's vastly more interesting than the Oath cards that we talked about, even though both of the Oath cards are awesome. The Kohai Belly of the Beast ultimate is awesome. Mostly because, again, as I mentioned, it allows for some jank. With Kumaya specifically, about how you can eat heroes and then leave them stuck in the Void Palace because of how they got there. It's never going to happen, but it's funny to think about, hey, it could happen theoretically, just because, of how the specific circumstances would need to set up. It would be interesting, but, we'll see what happens. As time goes on, perhaps someone will come up with the jankest of jank setups for it. Or perhaps they won't. Who knows? Pythoner, are you ready to activate? Or do we have a rules question, maybe? I have no idea what's going on. Okay, we're going to round 2. After 20 minutes of deliberation, the jury has decided we're going. Vorhild is activating. This makes perfect sense. Vorhild is going to activate and attack Shillavi. Is there the redirect here? Because Vorhild could end up attacking the Outsider, and then the Outsider takes a swipe at Vorhild, and that would be big damage for the little Vulpine, or whatever she is, Muskrat. Ermine. Thing. Whatever. Rodent. We do see a halt here, which means there could possibly be a counterplay. I expect either a sacrifice from Brilvar to sustain Shillavi, or the redirect to drop. Jesus! Aha!
So when he declares Vorhild as the activating hero, can I respond to him declaring activating before the activation is actually started?
So the activation goes on the stack, but you have a chance to respond to the activation.
In other words, can I use a card to shapeshift Brilvar in response to him before Vorhild's activation starts, so that Vorhild has to attack Brilvar?
That's probably a tape question, to be totally honest. I would assume. Let me see. Hold on. Let me read Brilvar's card here. When an enemy hero, an enemy where's tape? I see. My gut instinct wants to tell you yes, but because like the activation would be on the stack, wherein you have a chance to respond to it, but I'm not sure if because the Brovar response, the Brovar effect itself is the response to the activation. So I'm not sure that once you if you satisfy the conditions after the activation has already been placed on the stack, that it can go off. If that makes sense.
So once the hero has already activated, it's too late. But
yes,
while the activation is on the stack, do I have can I play that before the hero's activation starts?
Right. That's the so Smeoz says no, it's too late, and that the hero is already activated. So Smeoz will proxy for Tapeworm. So no, you do not.
Okay. Even if the activation hasn't, so there's no chance to do that before the activation starts?
Correct.
Okay.
You need to do it on the end of the turn of the last character.
Cool. Thank you.
Aha, thank you. Okay, well, there we go. We learn something new every day. So Skytear, educational, fun for all. That is one of those kind of weird niche scenarios. So apparently I was wrong on that. That's okay. It happens to us all. So in case anyone was curious what was happening there, basically what was happening is that Kirito wanted to, as a response to Vorhild's declaration of activation, play the card to enable a shapeshift, which would then force Vorheld to make the attack against Brovar. So we cannot do that. We've all learned something new there. Okay, so meanwhile, I did see a Speak with the Spirits come down on the stack. Choose up to 2. Predict 2. Apply Shapeshifted to a friendly hero within 3 hexes, or apply Disarm. I'm pretty sure I know what's coming down. Also, we can zoom back in now. So in this case, I assume that we're going to disarm Vorhild and we're going to shapeshift Brovar. Makes some sense here because otherwise there's going to be a lot of damage coming through to poor Shilovy. Yep, there's the 1. Vorhild is disarmed, so she'll do 1+. And or is the second one actually going to be predict? I could see a world where the prediction coming down is useful. We'll have to see how that pans out. Now, of course, Pythoner could have another charm, at which point he could use to just remove the disarm and go back to doing the 3+. Not entirely sure if that's the strategy here, but we'll have to wait and find out. Of course, looks like Ryan's going for the predict action. I don't know, his hand's on the board. So he's probably not predicting the cards. Ryan's going to stall the game out again. We don't know why. All right, that's enough of that. I can't sing. I will protect all of your ears. So Ryan is going to go ahead and resolve there. Going with the shapeshift on Shilovy, this is very smart. Vorhild is not currently shapeshifted, which means you will be able to retaliate against her. So Vorhild is going to deal 1++, and Shilovy will then be able to counter for 1+. Last time we saw this happen, Ishitosk took a swipe at Freyhill and then got counter. Oh no! Vorhild says there comes the charm. So the question is, do we remove the charm from the shapeshift from Shilovy or the disarm from Vorhild? I assume you remove the disarm from Vorhild, just because. Okay, I'm wrong. If I could be right once during this cast, that would be fantastic. And then oh my god. Okay, and then Shilovy goes and plays Touch of Leothin. So Touch of Leothin is going to give her shapeshift right back. So, ooh, there's the 3+ on the flip. So, that is going to be 4 damage to Shilovy due to the disarm. Brings her down to 11. Now Shilovy gets to do the revenge. I'm going to presume you make the revenge on Vorhild again. doing it against the Terror Bear, not the greatest plan here. Retaliation would almost certainly bring you to a critical level. With a 3+, you can very easily then get blown up by Neliclin. I don't know why I keep calling Neliclin Kotlik each other, because they look nothing alike. Kotlik is a battle warrior, and Neliclin's some weird spirit dude. Nor are their names anywhere close to each other. Oh well. So I think Ryan is... Oh wait, Ryan can't. No, yeah. You can't target Shillavi, or you can't target Vorhild because she shapeshifted. She stole the charmed shapeshift. So your only option is do nothing or hit the outsider. And so therefore the correct choice here is do nothing. So Pythoner, I assume now play is passed back to Pythoner. I presume there will be a lead action and then the worship action, which will remove a pillar, place another pillar, and that will deal 2 more damage to Shillavi, bringing her within lethal range for either Freyhill or Neliclin on their activation. As the pillar only needs to be removed within 3, the targeting damage has to be, or the damage itself has to be targeted. So Vorhild does not actually need to see the pillars coming or going in order to do the 1,000 tiny fangs. And so, oh no, Shillavi is shapeshifted. No, she's not shapeshifted. I've lost count of what has happened with all of the charms. She's not shapeshifted, and so therefore, how did she lose shapeshift? Ryan must have withdrawn the Touch of Leothin card, because Shillavi should have been shapeshifted from that, but she has all of her mana. Interesting. Okay. So Shillavi will then take 2 plinks of damage, brings her down to 5 HP. And now Shillavi is going to activate. Let's see what happens here. At this point, if you're Ryan, I actually don't know what your plan is. I think with Shillavi, you run her out of the dome and you take out 2 minions. And I think that's what you have to do. Like, Pythoner has you on lockdown. You're about to lose another hero. Yeah, bring her out of the dome. Is there a response play? He's not going to Psychic Discharge kill her, is he? No, Ryan, not like this. That's not the way. Okay, Ryan is spam thinking. This will be time. This is time for 6,000 Gigabrain IQ play. Is he going to try and spike Neliclin with a series of electrocution revenges? That's a possibility. The problem is he can realistically only take 1 or 2. Okay, we're going for the worship action. Makes sense. This would help with the... Okay, then we're going for the move action. Okay, so we are going to go ahead, clean up 2 minions. This will give Ryan... Actually, this gives Ryan lethal in the lane. Okay, so he did pull back the Touch of Leothin. Okay, that makes sense. All right, so this is 2++ on the flip. Dead minion guaranteed. Now we do the revenge, not the revenge proc, the feline pounce proc, +1, double dead minion. So that gives Ryan, that actually does win Ryan the game at this point. But of course, Pythoner is going to send his henchmen out there in order to kill the evil Shillavi. Let's see what happens now. Neliclin goes for the move action. Oh, here comes Skytear Discharge. Here comes Skytear Discharge. In response to the move. Yep. Skytear Discharge, a wonderful card that we actually don't get to see a lot of anymore. Mostly because there are just so many different cards to be played. But in this case, you know, this is still a fun one when it comes out. Hero that moves through a white line, deal 2+ a flip. So therefore, Neliclin is going to take a little bit of shock damage in order to come and get this. Come and get Neliclin. Come and get Shillavi, excuse me. We now see the attack action after Nelliclin takes 5 damage from the discharge, and Shillavy's going to play Nourish. All right, you like to see this play. Bringing the bait out here, that's going to actually make a setup possible where Nelliclin might actually die. Kordjoff will get fast and be able to 1, 2... Oh, no, that's actually not enough room there. We'll have to see how that works out, actually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that's unfortunate. So in that case, Shillavy did get herself a little bit of Nourish. Net damage then does bring her down to 4 HP. And so we need to now see the final action. Do we see some magical shenanigans occurring? A little bit of presence, a little bit of worship. ¿Por qué no los dos? Maybe another rampant hatred, courtesy of the Eye of the Guardian being played. See some wild fun here. Anything exciting, maybe? Nope. Not to be the case today, it seems. Unfortunate, but such is life. Let's think about what else could be done here. We could see... No, we don't want to see that. You could skirmish, I guess. Potentially moving into the other cover hex. Now, you don't want to do that. That puts you outside of the control range. You could just skirmish for a little bit of damage. You can't kill Shillavy, but you could at least bring her down to critical and then send Freyhill or Ishitosk over to finish the job. That's a possibility. But we're going to go with the lead action. Okay, makes perfect sense here. As Pythoner does need to defend this lane, Shillavy is not leading, which is very useful. But Brilvar does get to run his way over. Could end up leading here, dealing some damage. A move, attack, and a lead there would augment his defenses. This would be a great time for Eric's card that we saw last week, the Descent in the Ranks, as you'd be able to swap leads with mana burned cards. But unfortunately, we don't have that card. We have Eye of the Guardian this week, which, to be fair, has been used to great effect. The turn 1 Nelliclin, Worship, Rampant Hatred, shenanigans, we love to see them, is highly unfortunate for Kirito, but it was pretty entertaining for us. All right, we're going to lead from the hand with Nelliclin to round out this turn. So, Kordjoff does get fast when he activates. He is also a melee. We are going to go for the move action, so we're going to see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, are we going for the outsider? Oh, we're skirmishing against the outsider. Okay. And a +3. Okay, that actually hurts. That's going to deal 4 piercing damage, excuse me. Kordjoff gets +1 whenever he's shapeshifted. So that takes the outsider down to 14. Okay. Now the outsider does get a reaction. However, because Kordjoff is outside the dome, not really going to do too much here. So, plopping yourself next to Nelliclin now, in this case, will allow you to deal a 4+ attack against Nelliclin. Not going to be lethal, as we mentioned. Ryan does not have any of the... Oh, wait a minute. He does have Call the Weak. Call the Weak spam plus an attack might actually do the trick. Kordjoff has... Actually, you wouldn't even need to spam it, because Kordjoff has 2 conditions. So, if there's a Call of the Week here, Nelliclin is going to go down. So, how does the Terror respond? The Terror can only move, skirmish, or attack. None of those options are particularly useful. Brilvar is your only attackable target. He has 3 armor. Moving and skirmishing, I mean, you're just putting the bear more into Ryan's territory. So, I think that was a very safe skirmish play from Kordjoff, as there's not really any way that Pythoner can punish this. Ryan already has control of the lane in lane 1. The bear cannot be used in any way to get the minions. All right, we're just going to go ahead and attack Brovar, it looks like. So we see 0+ on the flip. No damage. Oh, and Kordjov is going to bust out the presence. Okay, so there's the presence that we wanted to see earlier. Where is presence? Presence. Caster contribution increases by 1 for this turn, and you get to predict 2, and we see a lead from the deck to round it off. So Pythoner knows, SpaghettiOs, there's damage to be done here. So, at this point, you need to... You need to kill Shilovy, and you need to kill a minion. Because otherwise, you are in trouble. So right now, let's presume that Pythoner has a 3, and we'll assume that Ryan has a predicted card as a 3 as well. Pythoner has a value of 4, and Kirito has a value of 10. I know I teach math, but I don't think we need to have an extra special lesson to know that 10 minus 4 is 6, which is enough to kill Pythoner. So, kill the Shilovy, or you lose. So I would probably send... Frayhill? Oh no, SpaghettiO, I forgot about that. Brovar's now shapeshifted, which means they're both going to have to waste their attacks. Oh no. Well, actually, only Ishitosk is, because Earthquake occurs. See, this is where this would have been useful to have moved the outsider up 1 so that it was adjacent to Brovar. You could essentially form a wall and make it so that Brovar wasn't able to get around and taunt Frayhill. But alas, hopefully there is some sort of a response, or there is magical healing shenanigans from Pythoner that will allow him to spike the Shilovy. We do see the pillar placement occurring. Nothing fantastic there. Of course, Vorhild can ping Brovar twice. It does absolutely nothing. That is a very, very sturdy porcupine. And... Let's see what else we can do. We can't lead in the lane. We've already done that. Skytear Jank, coming soon to your local game store. We can only hope, Giacomo. We can only hope. With more mass adoption of the game, we have more people, a bigger player base, which means more opportunities to find janky interactions and plays. And with the new set coming out, I'm sure those chances are going to increase, especially with Kohai's ability to... Can't talk about that just yet. Okay, so the worship action has resolved. Ishitosk, Frayhill, both outside the lane. This doesn't really matter too much here at the glance, because Brovar can just slide his way into lane number 1. That seems to be the play here. Slide over into lane number 1. He can't necessarily kill Nelliclin, and I don't necessarily think he wants to either. He just moves over, worships someone, and just provides his presence there. We do see the skirmish action coming down. Going against Shilovy. Okay, this makes sense. Ooh, a +2 on the flip there. Shilovy is outside the range of Brovar and is also not shapeshifted anyways, so she ends up taking 2 damage. Okay, so there is a chance for lethal on Shilovy here from Frayhill. I'm going to assume that Pythoner has some sort of a healing card, because a +2 on a flip is extremely dicey. Yeah. Let's see how this plays out. So Brovar, whatever Brovar does, I assume it's going to end with him landing in the cover hex below Frayhill, or the one that is above his minion. Perhaps maybe setting up for a possible safeguard play. I know Ryan is a big fan of the safeguard card to protect a minion. Pythoner would know that as well, of course, and just not target the minions that are adjacent to people that could safeguard. But I feel that Brilvar has to end this activation shapeshifted and adjacent to Freyhill, because otherwise Freyhill just gets the free kill. Unless there's a redirect. There could be a redirect from the Shilvi, and that would be tragic and unfortunate for Pythoner. So let's see what happens here. All right. Make a move. Somebody. I'm running out of stuff to stay here. I can only babble on for so long. That's okay. Meanwhile, exciting events to talk about. So the World Qualifiers are still wrapping up. October is actually, I think, wrapping up right about now. I believe they're playing right now to finish that one up. The September semifinals are actually going to be done tomorrow night. I may or may not be around to cast that. I can't remember exactly what time it was. I'll go ahead and look into that. Maybe we'll bring that one to you live if we can. Oh, no, it's a semifinal. Never mind. So we're not going to do that because closed deck lists, unfortunate. We'll look forward to when we can bring you the finals and the third place match. Hopefully those will be scheduled relatively soon. All right, we do see the attack action against the bear from Brilvar. Interesting. So that does allow Kirito to draw a card. Remember, everyone kind of fixates on the unfortunate aspects of hunting for power to forget that there is that little clause. When you declare the attack against the outsider, you get to draw a card. So the terror now does get to react. So unfortunately, after this situation has been set up, I think it's a little too late to try and form the Great Wall of Heroes here to block them off. Attacking, again, doesn't really seem to provide you any benefits. I guess we did go for the attack action. 2 damage to Brilvar. Makes sense. I mean, I guess, why not? Question mark. But the interesting thing is, oh no, that would have been blown on the attack that she would have to do on Brilvar anyways. Okay. So, we're going for the... Is Ryan trying to go for hunting for power? No. Okay. Well, that's interesting. Okay. And then the worship action, this makes perfect sense. In order to make it so that Freyhill has to taunt. Now, this is going to come down to the cards in hand. Pythoner only has 3 cards in hand. If Ryan has a redirect, although Ryan only has 2 cards in hand, and Shilvi's out of mana. Never mind. Okay, so Ryan does not have the redirect play available to him because none of his heroes have mana. All right, so does Pythoner have a way to snipe Shilvi? If not, this could basically be game. Now, Neliclin does have mana as well. Do we have a chance to remove... Nope, we do not. All right, there comes the attack, +1. Okay. 3 damage against Brilvar, as it is piercing. It is not piercing. Unless that overlay is wrong, that was not piercing. Okay, it was okay. Yeah. So, Freyhill does not actually have piercing right now. Yeah, you need to move, and then you need to skirmish against Shilvi and get a +2. Or you need to kick out Brilvar from the control zone. Otherwise, Ryan is going to win. Unless you have something that spawns minions as well. If you have a Bewitch card, you could also do the Bewitch play there on one of those minions. Defeat a minion, spawn a minion. That looks great. I think Pythoner is doing the math. This is not looking good, is what he's thinking. So we have to see how this plays out. But I think that even with a minion... Actually, I think regardless, I think Ryan still gets exact. If we kill, let's say, if we kill Shilvi, there's 5, there's still 10 versus 5. Yeah, So even with a Shillavi kill, that's still exact. And so Ryan is going to win with left breach. Amazing. Pythoner goes for the move action. Brings down here. Goes for the worship action. Okay. I assume we're going to heal her to death, but it doesn't matter. So I think Pythoner's saying, yep, I'm dead, but I'm at least going to further reduce your hero pool. No response means that the Shillavi does take the 4 damage. Shillavi dies. Pythoner gets to draw a card. It does not matter, though. What just happened? I hear noises. I have no idea what just happened. Okay. Oh, well. Revenge happened. No, revenge can't happen. Shillavi was dead. I have no idea what just happened. Something happened, and I didn't hear what the ping did. Okay. So that brings us to the end there, and so now we do math. Korjov is worth 5, presumably. I assume that, well, unless that lead is not a 3. If that lead is not a 3, then Pythoner is going to be able to barely survive, I think. I mean, it was a predicted lead, so very likely that it's a 3. Oh, we're shuffling the deck for some reason. Okay. Math is occurring, I think. I think we are safe to conclude here that Ryan takes the left breach. Brovar is 1, 4 minions is 5. We haven't flipped the leads yet, Korjov. As soon as Korjov shows that that lead is a 3, that's 10. Nelaklin, even with being worth 4, Ishitosk being worth 1 is also 5, so 5 to 10. That's just enough to destroy the tower. Yep, there's the sinkhole. And with the Freyhill lead, yep. Unfortunately, that will send the game. We had a turn 1. Wait, what? How am I miscounting? Hold up. Brovar's within range. Am I missing something here? Oops. Ah! Math is hard. I missed the Freyhill, who is, in fact, standing right next to me. Whoops! This is the benefit of having a co-caster. You have someone else to be able to do the spotting so that your own dumb mistakes don't get aired. Or at least they get limited. I don't know how I just zoomed right over that. I apologize. So, with that being the case now, we have Pythoner winning control of the dome. Oh no, Korjov, you're dead. This is highly unfortunate. Korjov is going to get dragged, crashed, and slashed, and then we Bloodlust Nelaklin, who will finish the job in turn 3. All right, so let's see what happens here. Outsider activation, of course, Vorhild was uncontested in the dome. Pythoner uses the Give Frenzy to target ally. That's going to be Nelaklin. Oh no, if there's another Rampant Hatred, this is going to be tragic and unfortunate, but really fun to watch. Second ability, I assume we pull him over with the Dreadful Majesty. Yep, there's Dreadful Majesty, and then we just attack Korjov. Korjov has 14 hit points, slashy. He is outside of Brilvar's range. He's also not shapeshifted, so who cares? That's going to be 4 damage, bringing Korjov to 10 HP. And we're into round 3. So Freyhill comes back on the other side of the map. This is not the place where you want to be whenever your heroes need to be respawning. In other words, you hate to see it. Particularly because Pythoner's going first. So, at this point, of course, Freyhill is a target for obstinacy. What I suspect may just happen is that we just kind of kill Korjoff and completely run Ryan out of hero. You can just run someone out of resources, and then they just can't do anything. Dead heroes can't lead. And so Freyhill is going to start herself in the back. She will be able to make it into the control zone with a move and a... Oh, actually, no, not from that position. Wait, 1, 2, 3... Yeah, from that position, she would have to go to the far end of the board in order to influence the control zone. And even then, she'd be at risk of a sinkhole. So let's see what happens. Hunting for power is a possibility. We are in turn number 3. It does only have 12 HP, and so Pythoner does need to be cognizant of the fact that Ryan could attempt a heal burst on the bear. Getting rid of Korjoff will remove that possibility. Let's see what happens. I would love another Eye of the Guardian shenanigans, because now you can pretty much just alternate spamming Eye of the Guardian and Rampant Hatred, which would be hilarious. Show me Rampant. You've got 3 heroes alive. You know, the +3 on the skirmish. You've got Frenzy for Nelliclin, so that would be a 5+ on the skirmish. 7+ on the attack, or 5+ on the attack, both piercing. Korjoff is guaranteed to die because I don't think you're running any -1s. Let's see what you got. Or not. Is Ryan going to try another start of round shenanigan play here? That could be what's in store for us. Although I don't know what it could be. Given the fact that Brovar, I guess, could do some sinkhole shenanigans here. Sinkhole. Ugh. Blech. No sinkhole. Sinkhole, ban sinkhole. Ban sinkhole, and you bring fun into this game. That is my position. Let's see. We've moved the token to control, or to round number 3, so the players are ready to go. Pythoner does have a full hand. Well, actually he has 6 cards, so that's not quite a full hand. Ryan also working with 6 cards in hand as well, so both players reasonably stocked hand, even if not a full hand. Plenty of go-around plays to be had. We'll have to wait and see what happens here. Only Brovar is shapeshifted. Of course, Korjoff disarmed from the round with the Terror. I'm not sure if Freyhill is the planned activation or if that's just left over from last round. We'll have to wait and see. Vorhild, no, we don't want to activate Vorhild just yet. I think she's fine in the dome. Let me think. You could make a... Why is Brovar getting a circle on him? Pythoner goes first. Oh well. We'll figure that out later. So, both players have access to sinkhole here, which could be extremely useful. We could see some sinkhole on sinkholeception action, trying to drag Nelliclin away from assassinating Korjoff, and then just kind of locking Nelliclin in place, which feels kind of bad, but, you know, you got to do what you got to do to secure the kills. Freyhill, obviously, we saw the Glacial Rebirth being used as the lead action from Pythoner last round, so we know that that's off the table. We've also seen one flipped. I didn't check which one that was off the top of my head, but unfortunately, I'm going to bet it's Ermine's Eye, which is a shame because it would be hilarious if we could watch Vorhill fire the arrow down and just completely ice Freyhill. All right, Pythoner is going to activate Vorhill. Okay, not what I was expecting, but sure, why not? Moves over there. We're going for the attack action. Okay, attack against Korjoff. We like to see it. Makes sense. Okay, I see what we're going to do, and then we're going to worship double ping him. As he is outside of range of Brovar, this will allow both points to happen. Does the sinkhole come down? No. +1 on the flip looks good, so that's going to be 4 damage, brings Korjoff down to 6. And so the last action, of course, is the worship action. Making it so that you can't be targeted. Reposition the token. Bada bing, bada boom. Korjoff takes 2 more damage and goes down to 4, which basically guarantees lethal for Nelliclin on his activation. Now, Korjoff is not shapeshifted off the round here, so you would need to spend an action shapeshifting if you wanted to try and cat scratch fever Nelliclin. Although Korjoff doesn't become a cat, he becomes a bird. Is Featherstorm available? That's a question. We're gonna peek in the graveyard here while they're figuring that out. We know what's happening here with the worship. Is Featherstorm an option? There's Glacial Rebirth. There's Dance of the Predator. Oops. Oh, there's no... oh, okay, so Featherstorm is an option. All right. I think Featherstorm might be Ryan's saving grace here, as Korjoff would be able to frolic merrily away from the assassination. And Ryan was dunking on Korjoff for being useless. He's not wrong, but Korjoff does have a chance here to redeem himself. Or make himself useful by serving as the bait and switch. So Vorhild is now shapeshifted, pillar reposition, plink plink, 1,000 tiny fangs, nom 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 nom, and Korjoff is now down to 4 hit points. So that is a guaranteed lethal attack from Nelliclin. Ryan is now thinking as to, well, how do I get out of this? So the damage from Featherstorm does require the caster to be shapeshifted. However, and the caster, of course, being Korjoff, does require Korjoff to be shapeshifted. However, the universal teleportation mechanism does not. So it is possible to use that just in order to dodge the lethal attack from Nelliclin, make that cancel. But you would still like to try and be shapeshifted in order to take advantage. It is a 3+ piercing. And in particular, you'd like to try and be able to nuke the outsider. That is, you know, a possibility here. Ryan, of course, is going to win if this goes to the end of the round. Most likely. Depending on how the minion situation shakes out here. But actually, yeah, that's a good question. How does Pythoner win this? Like, you kill Korjoff, but then what? Like, you have to both keep out Brovar and Freyhill and kill minions. Yeah, the obstinacy, I guess you could... Yeah, we can't really nuke Freyhill. She's at 16. I wonder if Pythoner's win condition is actually just nuke the outsider. That is interesting. Actually, that might be the case here. Pythoner's win condition might be kill Korjoff, then kill the outsider. We'll have to wait and see how this shakes out. Kirito is still thinking, so at this time, I'm going to tell you guys a story. Once upon a time, in Olanta, there was... Forget it, I can't do this. I don't have a good news story. Let's see, we've talked about the World Qualifiers coming up. Of course, Last Chance Qualifier, that's coming up in 2 weeks' time on November 20th. That will be not this coming Saturday, but the next Saturday. And there are about 16 players who are invited for that, for one final chance at fame, glory, and Tim Bun's crown. in the World Championship. The players are listed in the Discord as to whom was invited there. If I can pull that up while searching around here, I will do so. I forget which channel it was. I think it's the 2021 World Series. No, it wasn't. World Qualifier. Ah, here we go. So the last chance qualifier invite list includes C-Dubs, Ryan, Bon, Irvine Person, Pythoner, Zambo, Fuchs, myself, Geob, Gabri, either Red Scare or Grey Ghost. I believe that's dependent on the outcome of the ongoing World Qualifiers, Clinton, and Barkaboy. So out of that, a minimum of 4 are going to be advancing to the World Championships, and we'll have to see exactly how that plays out for them. Ryan is still thinking. So anybody have any questions? Thoughts, concerns? We can do an AMA. We can discuss how great Yami is. We will never get tired of that, which, by the way, speaking of, I need to update Yami's guide now that we have these Unforgotten cards coming out. There's a couple new tactics that can be involved that I think will be beneficial for players. Overall, I'm interested in seeing how the game shakes out here. All right, finally, Vorhild's going to play Sinkhole. So Vorhild is going to Sinkhole Brovar. This is going to be fun, because here comes the counter Sinkhole from Ryan that's going to end up canceling that. And nope, we're just going to throw Brovar backwards. Okay. Let's see what we do here. Pythoner's got the blue hand, so he's kind of hovering around. Austin says Freyhill is greater than Yami. It's okay. We can all be wrong about some things. If you're talking from pure gameplay perspective, then that's certainly an agreement that I won't necessarily disagree with. I think Freyhill and or Yami both kind of trade off and on as probably the overall best hero. If, however, we're talking about the cool factor, then there's no contest. Yami wins every time. So, we do have the Earthquake coming down from the first Sinkhole that is being played during the game from the Vorhild. Possibility occurs that we could see some Eye of the Guardian action just to keep her spamming Sinkholes, which would be hilarious. Seems a little bit unlikely, but possible. So now Ryan needs to figure out exactly what are we going to do with the Brovar. We did see that the worship action was what was the trigger here, so Ryan is now going to move. So interestingly enough, that Brovar is not able to move within range of the control token. 4 away. Going for the skirmish action, you cannot target Vorhild, and so he's going to back up 1. That seems like a terrible position, because now you can have both of your heroes locked by a single Sinkhole. What is Ryan planning? Ryan is a good player, and he knows that something is up, so why would you bring Brovar back like that when you can get a double Sinkhole lockdown? Unless you're planning to teleport Korjov all the way over there and do some kind of last man stand thing, I don't know. Let's see. What do you think of playing slower with a limited time, apart from the technicalities, from a player or caster perspective? Could you elaborate on that, Giacomo? I'm not quite sure I understand your question. Oh, never mind. Now I see. I misread shower with limited time. What do you think of playing Skytear with limited time, apart from the technicalities, just from a player caster perspective? So I think that it's difficult to say. Like, the problem is that Skytear games, in terms of time, have such a high variance, because there are some games that we've had that are over basically the first or second activation of turn 2, and the game's like 20 minutes long. And then we also have some games that have quite literally gone on for 2 hours because it's just a back and forth slugfest with neither player being able to reach a real advantage. Meanwhile, Nelliclin going for the lethal kill, I'll get back to that point in a second. That's going to be 4 on the flip there, 2 from the frenzy, 2 from the skirmish flip. So Korjov is not dying. Korjov's going to go out with a bang and play Call the Weak. So Call the Weak, actually, very interesting card. That this card does more damage to the target based on how many conditions the caster has. So deal X damage to target enemy, where X equals twice the number of conditions on the caster. So of course, that was actually played on the outsider. Okay, so Ryan has to go for a outsider spike. The correct choice, I think, from Pythoner here is that you just... Wait, why is Korjov coming back? Oh, because the outsider retaliation actually goes on the stack first. Before Nelliclin's attackers, or Nelliclin's skirmish would resolve. I think you just run the outsider away, because otherwise Freyhill is going to come in and try to spike it. And Smiaz agrees. Oh, great. Well, if Smiaz agrees, then your point is usually valid. So we like to see it. Okay, Korjov is going to die. I guess that Pythoner is elected to just leave the bear there or something? Not quite sure exactly what happened there. Ryan throwing off the whole thing by breaking up the set there. So okay, so it looks like he ignored with the terror. Oh, for goodness. Oh, yeah, you have to put that there because technically the piece does not get removed until the resolution of the skirmish action. So Nelliclin would have to move in such a manner that he did not go into Korjov's empty hex. Okay, so Nelliclin is now positioned. So Freyhill, from her current position, is not able to get to the Terror of the Endless Night. I think in this case, if Pythoner has a presence, you just attack a minion, presence, and lead. Yeah, so there's the attack on the minion. Pick one. I don't really think it matters. Oh, we're changing the skirmish. Okay, so we're going to get a little extra close in case Ryan tries some weird stuff. And we're going to ping that minion. Looks good. Dead minion. +1 on the attack. That is a very dead minion, as that is 6 damage to the minion. Poor guy. We're going to call him Fred. Just got obliterated by Nelliclin's Skull Blast thing that he's holding. And we do see the lead action, so it doesn't look like there's any presence here. Nelliclin having 3 mana, unless we're trying to save, potentially for a sinkhole, in order to set up for kicking Freyhill out. And I actually do like Nelliclin's position there because that would allow Nelliclin to target the Hex that would allow him to sinkhole and fling Freyhill out of the control zone, which would be a saving grace for Pythoner, and would allow him actually to regain control of lane number 1. Ryan is now going to activate his second and last hero of this round. Oh, this is unfortunate. We do see the lead from the hand, and that will resolve Nelliclin's turn. So Freyhill, what can you do? What can Freyhill bring to the table? There are no Bewitches. Those are all on Estrita for Ryan. You can't see the outsider, so there's no spiking it. Rilvar has mana. Let's see. Does this work? Hold on. Move. Nope, that's a target enemy hero. That doesn't do anything. Redirect's not going to help him. Where Faith Falls isn't going to help him. Cooling Breeze. Ooh, wait a minute. 1, 2, 3. Okay, Cooling Breeze could work if the bear had more damage, but it doesn't. Because you could potentially get some more stats on your status effects on yourself. Brovar can't use Avalanche. I'm struggling to see what Ryan can do here. What can Ryan do with this setup? You can move, you can target Nelliclin, but Nelliclin's got 9 HP. Maybe burst him, but that runs the risk, obviously, of the sinkhole. All right, let's see what Freyhill does, because I'm short on ideas. Ryan does have 5 cards, but let's see. So we have a move action. Okay, Rampant Hatred. So we're going to try to kill the Nelliclin. Makes sense. All right, so Rampant Hatred gives a +2 here, as there's only 2 of them alive. Now, it does do piercing damage. This would have been great if Ryan could get to the Outsider. Unfortunately, he can't. So I guess the plan here is to spike the Nelliclin. As Nelliclin has lead, that would require Pythoner to do a little bit more. With his heroes on the defensive side. Now, if there's a sinkhole, this is where you kick the Freyhill out and negate the skirmishes. If you don't, this is the point where Nelliclin probably dies. Or if you apply a disarm, then I guess that would also help. Nope. We're going to resolve it. Here we go. Rampant Hatred. 2+ on the flip. Does... Oh, wait, no, because of the rules. Okay, so the rules make it so that you put a separate skirmish action on the stack. Then you declare the skirmish action. Now Pythoner actually has a window, so he may have just been waiting for the actual skirmish to be declared against Nelliclin before Pythoner does anything to react. I forgot that we shuffled that up, and that was the implications of the Season 2 rule change, mostly because Rampant Hatred has kind of fallen off in favor. Still used, obviously, as we can see here, but it's not the premier aggro card that it once was. Sad days, everyone. Get your Fs in chat for Rampant Hatred Season 1. We loved to see it. And Nelliclin's going to throw out the Chasm. There we go. That's what we were waiting to see. So Chasm is going to allow you to target a hex within 2, which is the one with the minion. You saw the ping, and push each hero 1 away. So that not only negates the bonus skirmish action that the Rampant Hatred grants, it also negates the subsequent follow-up damage because Freyhill is no longer able to target Nelliclin. The best she can do is... Actually, Nelliclin, that play there prevents Freyhill from even being able to get into line of sight of the control token. So Freyhill can skirmish against Ishatosk if she so chooses, and that's not going to do a whole lot. Which is a Feels Bad Man setup, but you know what? K. Sarah. We do have an attack action left, so you... let's see, 2+ plus a... that's not going to do a whole lot to Ishatosk. Okay, we're going to go after Freyhill. Why not? If you're going to lose the game, you might as well just try and spike another player's heroes so that they can't use them as per the rules of King of Dome. So we do see the +1. Okay, maybe we're going to go for a Dome play, try to sinkhole our way into the Dome at the end. Freyhill down 3 HP from the 2+ on the skirmish there. Ryan does have one more ability that he can do here. He could potentially go for the worship action to shapeshift his Freyhill, prevent potential re-assassination. Yep, looks like that's going to be the case. We do see the worship action coming down, going to allow him to heal his Freyhill, preventing the obstinacy play for now. Of course, Freyhill's out of mana. So Brilvar has 3 mana versus Pythoner's 6. Now, Nelliclin has already activated, so we don't need to worry about any pillar removal mana healing shenanigans for Pythoner with Nelliclin and just allow it to burst. But, of course, we do have more Eye of the Guardian cards coming down, which means that just because Nelliclin is out of mana does not mean that he can't play cards. Which actually, now that I think about it, there is... Oh. We need to table that discussion for another day. This card actually has some very interesting implications that I didn't think about until now, which we'll talk about a little bit later once I verify with tape that this is the thing. I've already been enough wrong on this broadcast. I don't want to be wrong again. Otherwise, my hit rate falls below 20%, and I like to try at least make sure that I'm right 20% of the time. So, Freyhill is going to go ahead and end her activation right there, it looks like, sitting down in the dust, in the brush, kind of crying and contemplating life, wondering how she got here. Pythoner is doing math. Math very important here right now, as Pythoner does need to protect the lane. As we saw there, surviving by 1 HP, very close to death, but does not count until the 5th HP falls. As Ricardo said, HP is just a resource. Doesn't matter if it's on the hero or on the tower or the nexus. All that matters is that last hit point. Now, Freyhill is visible to Pythoner, courtesy of Vorhild, and Vorhild also cannot be targeted, which is, very convenient. But a sinkhole from the Brilvar could change that. So Pythoner may just kind of play it safe here. Now, the problem is, if he does play it too safe, in turn 4, both of Ryan's heroes will return, making this a 4-on-4 fight for the first time in 3 rounds, in the entire game, actually. But, on the other hand, if you do manage to kill off the Freyhill because there's no response, that's game over. Freyhill's already died once. Obstinacy is a thing that exists in this game. The alternative option, of course, is that Pythoner just runs and guns down the outsider. Now, with Ishatosk, he does have the ability to taxi any one of his heroes into the dome. It may be the case that he repositions such that... Now, that wouldn't work because you could still throw both of them away. Actually, no. Okay. So, he may reposition... Nah, that wouldn't work because you have to be adjacent. Never mind. Ignore me. That doesn't make any sense there to do that. This would be just a good time to play Topple, honestly. Topple would be fun to play here. Vorhild is already activated and has Nelliclin, so the only pillar generating worship can come from Ishatosk at this point. Freyhill, with 11 HP from Pythoner. I don't think she can get counter-spiked by Freyhill. Oh, no, she can't, because Kirito's is out of mana. So she doesn't have to worry about that. Let's see. Oh, are we doing something? Pythoner, don't make me start singing again. I know we lost half of our viewers when that happened the last time, but as a man of the people, I will do what is necessary to keep this game moving forward. You have my guarantee on that. Okay. Show me damage. We started off on such a rapid pace with this game, and then we dovetailed hard. Like, we've definitely had a lot of blood. We love to see it. We've had 3 hero deaths, a lot of injuries. You love to see it. However, we do need to see some sort of damage coming through here in order to close the game out. I would like to see... let me think about this. We've already seen Glacial Rebirth from... I would like to... now, From Below doesn't really have an application here from Ishitosk. Eye of the Ermine is off the table as Vorhild's out of mana. Also, it's an action. Trying to think what the correct play is. I think the correct play is just Sinkhole Freyhill, drag her out into the open, and then beat her to death for Pythoner. Make it so she can't run away. And then win by obstinacy. Although I guess, with those two heroes left, you're probably not going to be able to do that. Never mind. I think for Pythoner, see, that just feels so bad. Like, let's see. So Neliclin has led, so that gives you a 6-5, I think, in lane. 1, 2, 3, 5. Yeah. Okay, so you are technically winning the lane with those two alone. And then Freyhill, Vorhild are able to back up, as well as Ishitosk. So in that case, you can stabilize the lane while being aggressive. Let's see. Also, so let's take a look at the upcoming spoiler schedule, since I'm out of things to talk about officially until someone does something. Let's think about what do we have here? Nope, that's not the spoiler schedule. So let's see. Here we go. So as we mentioned, the Kohai card reveal is coming out this coming week. At least it should be, according to the charts. And then, I feel like this is off. Because next week it says that, I feel like Kohai's card actually should be out already. I'm assuming that the Kohai reveal has been a little bit delayed since Giacomo has been under the weather. Because according to this, it should have been out already. Because then November 15th, we're supposed to unveil Pebbles' hero card. Oh, finally, we're doing something. Excellent. I just celebrated my 50th birthday. So, Freyhill going in for the attack action. So we have some Freyhill on Freyhill action. We do see the attack coming down. Again, only Brilvar is capable of reacting at this point due to the lack of mana. Do we see a Sinkhole? Show me Sinkhole. Show me something, Ryan. Use up your mana. You can only do one thing, Ryan. And let's play with Brilvar. Porcupine, do something. Or not. Nope. Okay. Going down. All right. So 2 damage to the Freyhill there from Freyhill. So we have some Freyhill on Freyhill damage. We love to see it. Now the question I think here is, what do? I think you skirmish. And I think you worship. Skirmish away from the Freyhill in case Sinkhole shenanigans come down to drag you away. And then you just worship. I see no reason to lead. Neliclin has a 3 on deck, we assume, given that it's from hand. Yep, there's the skirmish action. Again, we target the Freyhill because she's already died once, so we can just set up, kill her again, and call it a day. +1 on the flip. This is piercing. She'll take 1 more. Freyhill, of course, again, can't revenge. Pythoner sliding back. That puts you out of range of the Sinkhole. And there's the worship. So we're going to go ahead and heal her up. 1+ on the flip for the healing, or not. Nope, there it is. Okay, so 1 healing, that's okay. Puts Freyhill up to 12. All right, Ishitosk's turn. Hopefully Ishitosk can go slightly faster. But as of course we know, hope is no basis for planning. So, let's see what happens. Ishitosk will... See, I think Ishitosk, honestly, you just kind of attack, move, and then skirmish back into range. Like, attack the minion. Yep, stabilize the lane. Like so. Yep, pick that one. Although I guess it doesn't matter. Sinkhole would stop you from either way. Kaboom. Dead minion. Stabilizing the lane. We love to see it. If you have a Bewitch, this would be a good time to move over. Or if you had Presence, this would also be a good time to move over. And if you don't, I don't know. Skirmish? Skirmish and then move back? I feel... Nope, going for the worship. Okay. This will do 0 damage, as Freyhill has 2 armor, Brovar has 2 armor, and we're putting Vorhild in the dome. Okay. Makes sense. Pythoner needs to get control of the outsider from someone, and that'll do it. Now that Ishitosk has killed off minions, that will allow the lane to stabilize. Even if Brovar Sinkhole throws Freyhill over, that gives Kirito... Oh, no, we're going to bring out Ishitosk's ultimate from below, reinforce the minions. That kills Kirito's hope of damaging the lane. From below, where are you at? There we go. Place Ishitosk adjacent to a pillar, and you may spawn 2 friendly minions. So that will give Pythoner all the defense he needs. There is absolutely no way that Ryan can kill off 4 minions from where he's standing with his lineup. And so I think Pythoner is in a very, very good spot. That expends the last bit of the mana there. Of course, no more line of sight to Freyal. Okay, we're going to skirmish. Just, I guess, as an action just because. And so that ends that. Okay, so lane resolution. Malaklan led with a 3. Shocker. Okay, so that gives a lot. Let's see. 4, 8, 9, 10. That's to 10 to 5. So... all the minions die, actually. Ryan goes from 1 tower HP to... Yikes. Okay, so all those minions for Pythoner are going to snap, and then 2 more are going to appear. So which means, with a little bit of careful placement here, Pythoner can actually do a very good job right there. Yes, you see it. Locking Ryan in, minions just have to spawn 2 hexes away, and so by positioning them like so... very easy lockdown job. We do see, of course, Ryan slow pushing over there in lane 2. Neither player really cares about it at this point. The tower will explode at the end of turn 4, which would lead to a turn 5 Nexus. This game, highly unlikely to go to turn 5, I think. Although it could be, to be fair. We will have to find out. So that is going to definitely destroy lane 2 tower next turn for Pythoner. Pythoner obviously doesn't care. Pythoner setting up for the obstinacy win, I think. Ooh, bold placement here. So in this situation, I think you attack Freyhill. Yeah, if you want to do that, yeah, because otherwise you just run the risk of Freyhill spiking, which I don't think you want to do. So in this case, I think it's better that you... Oh. Okay, I guess that gives visibility, so for a counter spike play, that makes sense as well. So we do see the attack action there, brings Freyhill down to 11. Freyhill is able to shapeshift, so we do see Ryan taking the opportunity to revenge on the outsider there. Going to bring it down, no? Did he not do that? Oh no, he was just discarding, okay. All right, so we are down to round 4. Korjoff and Shillavi respawn. Is somebody finally going to die for the second time? So basically, if Pythoner kills anyone who is not Brilvar, then the game is over. And that includes the outsider. Ryan has to kill the outsider. Because at this point, you're not going to get control of lane 1 anymore. Okay. Pythoner has the first activation. 4 mana. I think Nelliclin is supposed to no longer be frenzied. I'm pretty sure that should be gone there. Because that was from last activation, or from last turn's terror play there. Oh, unless he just reapplied it. Oh, no, he spawned it, he reapplied it, and then moved and then did the attack. Never mind. Okay, so that makes sense. All right, so Nelliclin goes in for the attack. Now, do we have a possible counter here to stop this? Everyone's full on. Ryan's got 16 mana. Redirects are not possible because both of the yellow heroes are outside of line of sight. What's the counter? There needs to be an ice wall, or... Yep, there's the ice wall. Boom, 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 boom. Ice wall. The ruiner of fun. Freyhill is now no longer targetable. It feels bad, man. Each hero hit by the ice wall cannot be targeted. So, unfortunately, there will be no Freyhill killing here. That was the attack. That's a feels bad, man. Skirmish against Brovar, I guess. Get over in the... Well, because then you lose line of sight to Freyhill. Oh, that ice wall was very well played by Kirito. What is the play now for Pythoner? You can't kill a minion. Skirmish Brovar, I mean, why not? You've got +2, might as well not waste it. You're certainly not going to kill Brovar, he's got 15 hit points, but, you know, might as well chip damage. 4, okay, looks good, takes Brovar down to 11. Or 10, because apparently we do math differently. Oh, well. All right, so Nelliclin slides into the dome. That makes some sense there. Got to maintain control of the dome here for Pythoner. And, I mean, Nelliclin isn't really going to do too much else out there. It also would force Ryan to commit heroes into the dome, which makes them easier targets to kill. You can't really hide once you're inside the dome. Let's see how we respond to this. With a worship action from the Freyhill. Worship onto ice. Oh, actually, I don't even know who to assume. Probably Korjoff? Yeah, Korjoff. Okay, so that sets up the Feather Storm. And also the Fast. Nelliclin is within range now of the Korjoff charging in and ripping him to shreds. Of course, this can be alleviated if the Ishatosk runs over and sets up unstable ground. Oh, and Freyhill. Oh, no. Freyhill's now going to play her own Rampant Hatred. This is going to be a 4+. Ryan can see all 4 of his heroes. The outsider is the target. Here comes the snipe and why everybody hated Rampant Hatred. Oh, and Nelliclin counters with the Snowblind. Says, nope, we're going to put a lid on that. So Snowblind, where are you at? Snowblind, apply disarm to each person hit. So this is going to reduce the 4+ down to a 2+, which actually very well may make the difference here. Between Ryan being able to kill the outsider and not. Now, interestingly enough, this does set up at the place where Pythoner is able to snipe. His Freyhill is shapeshifted, which means there is a possibility now with the reduced damage that it's easier for the snipe play. Let's see what happens. Freyhill's not going to move. Ooh, and the +3 on the flip. That actually would have dealt 7 damage. 6. Did I miss something here? I must have missed something. All right, anyways. Freyhill goes for the sacrifice play, which will end up for the kill. Does Pythoner have the response? And Ishatosk plays Nourish. Okay. So Ishatosk is going to nourish the outsider. So that's actually really funny. You can do that. So the outsider goes up to 7 and then drops down to 3. Now the problem here is that Fryhill still has a skirmish action and an attack action. The skirmish, boosted by the Rampant Hatred, is a guaranteed lethal. The attack action is a 2+, which means very good chance. That being said, I suspect that Pythoner has another nourish. We do see the plus. Nope. Guess he doesn't. Yeeted. Goodbye. Game over. Hunting for power prevails again. All right, let's go ahead and chat with the players.
So. Yeah. Also,
I needed to not move Nalaklan so I would have line of sight so I could charm you off and stop that whole thing from happening.
Yeah. So last turn, I was hoping you were going to attack the terror. Last turn, and then I was going to move and then respond to the move with discharge and try and kill the terror on your turn on your activation. You almost saw the super spicy play. If I had done it differently, you might have seen it there. If I had cast this guy to discharge in response to Rampant Hatred, I was gonna bring Frail down really low and then use Soul Transfer with Shilvy. So I could keep going. I threw one copy in, and as the game was going on, I'm like, dang, I wish I had more Soul Transfers in the deck.
Yeah, man, shoot. I was thinking, rushing myself a little bit too much, deciding what to do with Nalaklan there.
Hello.
I forgot I needed that line of sight.
Ryan, back me up. What were you trying to do with the soul transfer? I apologize. I was toying with the audio settings.
I was planning. So I was thinking I had messed it up. I should use discharge in response to Rampant Hatred, and so I would go back and forth and kill myself, and then when I'm about to die from my own discharge, I use Soul Transfer from Shilvy to swap and get Frail back up so she can keep hurting herself more.
Nice. That would have actually been really funny. Unfortunate, but yeah, because I saw the Soul Transfer whenever I was going through your deck list, and I'm like, why? But that makes perfect sense.
It was an idea I thought it would make a deck. I'm like, ooh, I can kill myself even more now.
Ryan, we've talked about this. We've talked about these tendencies.
But it was actually interesting. As the game was going on, there were a couple of times, especially when I had double discharge in my hand, that I was thinking, man, I really wish I had more than one soul transfer in the deck.
Interesting. Are you? I think I at least did my job of showcasing what you can do with Eye of the Guardian.
That was awesome.
I know you love that.
Let me tell you, to be honest, it took me like a solid 3 minutes because like you played a bunch of stuff in rapid succession. I'm like, okay, I know that card. I know what it does. How did this jank work out? And then we managed to piece it together. But I'm like, I love everything about turn 1 Rampant Hatred.
So what he did was he cast Flux with Flux on the stack. He cast Eye of the Guardian.
Yeah.
Also, side note, for some reason, Eye of the Guardian was showing up as a +1 for him and a +0 for me. Oh, it's not there anymore.
Oops.
So when he flipped it, he's like, flip it, that's 3 damage. And I'm like, that's 2 damage.
Huh.
Did you see this as a +0 out on the field here, RG?
I do see it as a +0.
Okay, I don't know what it is. On my computer, it shows up as a +1.
Huh.
Granted, I go back and look at the spoiler channel. I look at where Giacomo and Eric said, "Hey, this is your card." It's +0 everywhere else, but right now in this game, I see it as a +1, which is weird.
Like you mean
probably something to do with the saved object or something, but it's really weird that it shows up differently for me and everyone else.
You mean not like the flip thing, like the actual flip.
The actual
symbol,
card art.
Symbol. Yeah, like the symbol.
The symbol on the card art says +1 on my computer, but apparently not everyone else's computer, so
dude,
no idea what's going on there.
Print that out. You got a defective copy. That's going to be worth a lot in a couple of days. You know, save those defects, man.
Yeah. Also, I don't know if you got it, RG, but I was hoping in round 3 that he was going to do some damage to the terror to try and kill it, and then when he did damage to it, I was going to declare a move with the terror and then Skytear discharge. And then I had Brilvar here to Ice Wall if he tried to do something to Stop it.
Nice. Wow.
Yeah.
That was wild. I think the greatest thing we can say out of this is, first of all, turn 1 Rampant Hatred. We love to see it.
Yep.
And also, 3 more bodies have been added to the pile.
Yep.
Yeah,
I think I took out some good heroes.
You did? Oh, you
also
definitely did.
Korjov.
Yes, you have
Korjov, of course.
You have effectively
Exactly.
completely squashed Ryan's blue squad. Not completely, but mostly.
I still have Brovar. I have Brovar and Golbjorn. That's all I need.
You no longer have Shillavi and Freyhill, though, which is something that can be celebrated.
Suicide Squad is no more.
That is correct.
Yeah. But I can still... Yeah, that's what I said. When we were in turn 3, we were like... He was like, I don't... This is awkward. We both were in a position we were kind of both trying not to lose.
Sure.
And I'm like, hey, at the very least, you got rid of Shillavi Freyhill.
And also Korjov.
Well, at that point, Korjov hadn't died yet.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's a good point. Okay.
I was kind of impressed with my round 3 there, honestly, at the end there. I didn't realize it was going to be so brutal.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I'm not going to lie. That was pretty
It was
good.
like literally just stop your heroes from doing anything. And killing some of them and then just sinkhole and chasm and just... That was great.
No, that was not okay. That's the word you're looking for.
Oh, it was wonderful. I don't know what you're talking about. I loved every second of it.
Yeah, I just had a little bit of a slip there at the end, moving Lachlan to lose line of sight of Freyhill, the one hero I really need to see.
Yeah, I also round 1 I made a slight misplay. Korjov I should have worshipped before moving because I wanted to.
You also forgot like 3, or maybe were your heroes too far away? I thought you forgot a few revenges.
No, I think they were too far away. Or Shillavi.
Maybe okay. Oh right, because Shillavi was like way off in the corner, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Well, Ryan.
Positioning was.
Yeah. I guess you now have the longest streak alive.
Yep.
And the biggest body count, which arguably is the more impressive feat. On a serious note, because I've lost count. How many have you lost now? Are we up to like what, 9?
I think we're at 7.
7? Okay, because I'll be honest, I've lost count. I know you've lost some like every week, and it's been a couple here and there, but I honestly lost count. But yeah, you've lost a quarter of the pool. Nice.
I did almost half of that.
That is also true. Yes, your contribution is that you Pythoner are the wise man plants a tree whose shade he will not enjoy. You laid the foundation for the future challengers by blowing up half of the squad that Ryan loves to use.
I still have Brovar, I still have Golbjorn, I still have Eckert, I still have Astrida.
Yeah, but watch what happens whenever we force you to play Kumaya.
Well, I'll say anything that Joe did to me this week will not hurt anything I can do with Kumaya.
Right. Okay. Which, by the way, speaking of which, we need to see what the remaining fun cards are that we can use to make your life difficult.
Speaking of which, next week I will be in Cincinnati.
Of course you will.
Yep, I might be trying to see Bearcat when I'm there, so that'll be fun.
Oh, well, that's nice.
Yeah, but it also means I can't do Skytear Sunday on Sunday. We could try. I could check with the opponent and see if we can do we can record it ahead of time and then just air it on Sunday.
Yeah, we could possibly do that, or we can just do the normal random things. Oh, we still have that. Aha. Okay. Yes, we definitely want to save that for later. Okay. So, anybody have any final thoughts here before we go ahead and sign out?
No, good game.
Oh yeah,
good game. Very well played by both of you.
That was a fun game.
Very well played by both of you. Again, Ryan, congratulations on extending the streak once again. And your next opponent, I actually forgot to look this up beforehand, so we're going to quickly pull up the document. Your next opponent, which will be, again, as we mentioned, potentially in 2 weeks if we don't get the pre-recording thing done, is going to be Magathellum.
Cool.
So, Magathellum, you can thank Pythoner for blazing the trail here and knocking off a bunch of heroes for you. Please get rid of Ryan. I can't take this any longer. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Ryan and Pythoner, congratulations. Thank you for joining us. I don't know why I told you congratulations. Probably because you're awesome. We'll see you guys next week. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thanks.